could definitely go. All right, I'm pressing the accelerator. Oh, cop. Welcome back to another full self-driving video. We are testing version 13.2.7 in our HW4 Model Y. I set up a route here that should take us through a U-turn here in a cul-de-sac. I'd like to see how that works out, and then also some different side roads and stuff, so we should have some left turns and that sort of thing. So hopefully a decent interesting route. So we'll start from park here and see how it goes. So should be going down into this cul-de-sac to do a U-turn. We'll see how that works out. Actually a nice clear sunny day, albeit cold, but it says attention monitoring unavailable, which is kind of strange because I don't know, I have the sunglasses on. It'll probably turn on in a minute, but all right, so we do have plenty of room to just turn around here, so let's see how it does. Okay, yeah, very smooth doing the U-turn there in the cul-de-sac. And now the attention monitoring is active, as you can see from the little green dot there, and it displayed for a second, letting us know. It's usually pretty good with the attention monitoring when you have the sunglasses on. When you have the sunglasses off, lately it's been pretty finicky, I think. I don't know, it's just a little bit tough on you sometimes, but obviously you're trying to pay attention the whole time because it does still do some weird things. So it's not unsupervised by any means. So definitely need to be paying attention. All right, so this left turn here sometimes can be a little bit tricky. There's nobody coming on the left. We just have to wait for some of these on the right. It's going to wait for the car completely on the right. Now there's a car coming on the left. We had enough time. We could have gone out to that middle of the intersection there and waited for a good gap, but I'm pretty happy with just waiting until there's a clear gap on both ways. When it's this time of day, there's not that much traffic, so that's totally doable. Now, if there's a lot more traffic going on, you'd have to be a little more aggressive than that. I am keeping it on standard mode, just to keep it in the middle. I don't like the way it drives in hurry mode. It just is too aggressive, unnecessarily changing lanes a lot. Now, this light is off. There's no flashing yellow or anything. But I handled it very nice. Very nice. Okay, so the light was out. And it did what it really should do, is stop at the intersection and just treat it like a four-way stop, because you don't know what the other direction is going to do, because they don't have a light either. So that was very nice. I mean, it's kind of following what the cars in front of us had been doing. There's no traffic director or anything, so I guess I don't know. Technically, I guess you could just drive through. I would just drive through slowly if I was going to just drive through, but because I'm sure our lanes would have been the ones that had the flashing yellow rather than the flashing red, if it had been on at all. But not being on at all and just approaching it for the first time, you definitely got to use caution, and I think stopping there was the right thing to do. All right, all this has been nice and smooth. Got in the lane it needed to be in. Now we're getting in the left lane. It says we got a about a mile and a half. Okay, now attention monitoring unavailable again. That's weird. But we got about a mile and a half until our turn, so it's interesting that it went ahead and got in the left lane. It's not too bad. I mean, as long as we're going, like the 5 over here, going 50 into 45, I feel comfortable. Being in the left lane, that's fine. There's not a bunch of people going way faster than us, although most of the cars are going faster than us. Car behind us is ready to go around us, I think, but maybe they need to be in the left lane as well. So there was the attention monitoring is now active again. I'm not really sure why it turns off and on. I have noticed sometimes it thinks that I'm holding a device in my hand. I don't know if that's because of I kind of think it might be because of the sunlight flashing against like my dark jacket or something like that, and it just thinks that, I don't know, I have something in my hand. But that's the one thing that's been annoying about, even with the sunglasses on, the attention monitoring sometimes will say it detects a device in your hand when there's, definitely not. So all right, so our left turn is coming up here pretty soon. And it does look like we're going to get the green arrow, so should be no trouble at all. Sometimes I like to see it when it has the yield sign flashing, the flashing yellow, to see how well it negotiates gaps, but should just get a green arrow, so won't get to see that. It's very nice lately when lights turn green and arrows turn green. It goes immediately. It's very good about going on the early side and not kind of just waiting there for a while. So we got a stop sign here. We could definitely go. All right, I'm pressing the accelerator. People behind me are not happy with that. I'm not sure why I was hesitant there. It was a little bit of an odd intersection. I just tapped the accelerator. I didn't keep holding it, but that is an intervention. This one's just a yield, so we can keep going, so that's good. Yeah, I would have liked to see how long it took to decide to go there at that intersection, but I just really wasn't willing to be that irritating to the people behind us who obviously want to go. So I'm not sure why it hesitated at that stop sign. It was a little bit of an odd intersection, but the other directions did have a stop sign as well, and it was clear. Still makes full stops, getting down to 0 at every one of the stop signs, which is fine, but most people do not get down to 0. So that's why if you're at a stop sign, it's definitely going down to 0. It should really not hesitate at those stop signs when it's clear like that, because people are already irritated with you for coming to a complete stop. This one, there's a stop sign on the left, but the stop sign on the right was a little bit covered by those bushes. Sees them clearly, no problem. Attention monitoring unavailable. Strange. Maybe it's because of the camera I have mounted. I mean, it does that to me all the time when I don't have the camera, so I don't think so, but that's the only thing I can think, at least in this instance. I do have the camera set up, and it's like next to my face. I don't know. Maybe it thinks I'm watching something on it or something. I don't know. It didn't say device in hand though, so. And then attention monitoring active again. Just keeps flipping on and off. That's strange. So far, the speed control on 13.2.7 is really good. Seems like we're keeping around the speed limit or just a little over, which I like. Typically, everybody's driving around 5 over at least. And on the 45s, it was going around 5 over. On the 30s, it was like, in 35, it was like more like 35 to 37 or so. So it didn't go quite as far over. I think we do have it set where the max would be 15% offset. So, cop. All right, I did disengage it there. I think it would have stopped, but it didn't really act. I didn't think it stopped quick enough for how they were coming out here. So this is a funeral procession, looks like. So, I mean, just with the cop with his lights on out in the road, really should have stopped for them anyway. So that's disengagement. I don't think, emergency vehicles are actually officially supported yet, but still, it would have been nice to see it stop pretty quick there, because it was a pretty obvious situation where we needed to stop. Let's see how this goes here. The cop, so they have a cop on the front and the back of it, just... I don't know. Strange. So, all right. It'll be interesting to see what it does here, because we actually have a red light up here, but this funeral procession is just going to go right through the light. Oh, no, okay, this card is not part of that, so they're not going to go through. So I was going to see if it was going to act like it had the right of way too, just because we were following them, but this car was not part of that, so they stopped, which obviously is the correct thing to do. It doesn't always get it right, but sometimes it does interesting things around traffic directors and things like that, where even though you're supposed to stop at a stop sign, the traffic director is telling you to go through, and it just goes automatically. So it does know those scenarios sometimes, which is pretty impressive. But then it got this one wrong, where, I mean, she wasn't really a traffic director per se, but that and the cop car should have been pretty obvious that we needed to stop. All right, so the speed limit here is 25. It's going 36. Pretty sure that's more than a 15% offset. So I think that it kind of ignores that offset sometimes when it's on the lower speeds, which in a neighborhood, 25, I definitely wouldn't be comfortable with. In this scenario, it's like immediately going up to 35 and then it's going up to 45. So everybody is going faster than 25 in that scenario, but still, I mean, it's definitely not following my offset that I had put in. So right now the offset is 52, and now they're in the 45. It's not even going the speed limit, but it's a nice clear road. Everything's fine. I don't know why it's not going the speed limit. So it's kind of weird how it chooses sometimes. Right after I had talked about how good the speed settings were going, speed control, and now it's actually acting a little bit odd. So I guess it's not as consistent. Still doesn't have the ability to park in a space, so I don't think I'm gonna let it try unless it's just obvious that it's going to park in a space. But when it decides to end the route, it's either going to stop in front of the door or it's going to circle around the parking lot and then maybe make an attempt to park. And when it does try to park, from the videos I've seen, definitely does not do a good job. We actually had that experience in 12.6.3 where it tried to park and it just did a very poor job of parking, but that's okay. Not officially supported. I hope they roll that out soon though. It's supposed to be in version 13, the option to either park, like find a parking space at your destination, or to drop you off at the front door of your destination. So it would be nice if it would have that option when you pick your destination. So we're still going slow here because we're actually still going the same route as the funeral procession. So going 30 and a 45, but obviously it's just because we're behind all these cars. All right, so our destination is coming up here on the left. Navigation doesn't actually display accurately where the road is, but at least from context, it will turn at the right location. Actually, it does look actually right this time, surprisingly enough. Sometimes it'll show that it needs to turn here, and there's no road there. All right, so here we are. Made it to the destination. We'll see if it's obviously going to try to park or if I'm just going to take over. Looks like it's gonna... Oh, it's going into a parking area. Okay. And it's just stopping. Okay. So that is it. It did get us here. Did have one intervention, which I felt like it should not have been necessary to make it go at that stop sign. That was annoying. It definitely... I would have liked to see if it would have ever gone. It definitely was hesitating a lot, but unfortunately, I had to intervene there. And then we did have the funeral procession where we actually did end up having to disengage because it did not stop for that. That's it for this one. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.